Perfect love casts out fear. You know what else casts out fear? Clarity.
So what does that look like as missionaries are communicating?
If you want to feel confident when you're approaching supporters, if you want to kill that fear of like all the excuses on why you shouldn't or why you should or whatever, it's to be clear. And so the practical steps, I just want to leave this with you guys because I think it'll be really helpful with some of you out there. I call it the text-to-text method. There's lots of methods out there, but to me, it's just like, let's just be as straightforward as possible, as clear as possible. Because I hear a lot of missionaries, they're kind of like us. They're Midwesterners when it comes time to ask for support or get a coffee with somebody, they just get awkward. Like,
It's amazing how many awkward people God calls to the mission field. I'll raise my hand.
they don't want to offend. They just like don't want to step on your toes. They want to say just right.
Like if you want to like maybe support me, like I mean, or like be a part of the
If you
team.
don't have to.
No pressure. Like, it's totally okay if you don't. I know you still love me.
I like. Could you just go home and pray about it? Like maybe if you want to give this, like I mean, just like whatever you guys feel like is a good enough amount. Like the fear of asking for too much or that fear of asking for too little, and it's like, or not even asking at all. Like that's the most frustrating thing sometimes. It's just like, no, you got to be clear. Like, and so let's walk through it for a sec. So this will be the only time that I suggest that you text. There's only 2 times that you text. So I call it text to text. So the front side of it and the back side of it, and I'll explain those. But the front side of it is this: you send out a text. So you got your hot cold list. All right. So I love Steve Shadrach. They call it like the name storm, and like you put a list together and you put people on that list, and then like you go from hot, medium, cold, and you rearrange that list like according to where God puts people. But like hot being people are close in proximity. And then cold is like, we haven't talked since college, but like we still DM every once in a while or something. Like we keep up with each other's families. And I actually had a missionary too recently who I was talking to, and he was showing me, and I love it. Like as a coach, you love it when you give advice and then someone takes it and they do something with it. Yeah. So that was my first thing. Hey, make a name storming list. And the next coaching session he had it all organized, but he also had in like little tabs. And so it's hot, medium, cold. And I was like, oh, I really like that. But then I was like, but I'm not sure, because there are times where when you look at the whole list, sometimes God's just like, now's the time where you need to move that to the hot list. You need to call them now. So I just
some of our supporters have come straight from the cold
yeah.
list.
Like
I didn't even know you liked us. Or
and that's the thing,
us.
right? So like, and that's where some fear comes in. Like they're going to think all I want is money. It's like, okay, well then ask yourself that question. Is that all you want? You better take that back to God. If that's like, but really what you're doing is, if you're approaching a cold relationship, they're very cold. They're not in your life very much. So what you're inviting them into is a hot relationship, because you're going to have more correspondence with them, because you're going to engage with them more. Now you guys DM'd every once in a while. Now they know exactly what you're up to and your family's up to, right? Yeah. So you're going through your name storm list and you're sending out messages. This is when I do encourage you. Don't call them. I know that sounds weird, but like text them. The reason why I like to say that is because it kind of puts more control into this potential supporter's hands. Mm-hmm. And it's unthreatening. It's not like very abrasive. It
doesn't feel like multi-level marketing.
Sometimes that's so good.
Phone call.
Yeah.
We associate a phone call out of the blue with a sales call, with a scam call.
Right.
I mean, it's just, I like that you're talking about
literally a cold call.
We're talking about modern, what's going on today. That may have worked 10, 20 years ago.
Right.
But we have a different association in our culture right now with a phone call out of the blue.
And when you see that text come through, this is where like it's absolute, like be absolutely clear about what you're going to ask. So like what I suggest to the missionaries is hey, I've got we're doing a new thing. Yeah. We're about to jump on this project, into this mission field. We're in our support raising season. I'd love to grab coffee and talk a little bit more about it.
Okay, Ben, that's so good, because how many times, like I associate not being transparent with multi-level marketing. Like,
right.
Hey,
that's so
let's
good.
Connect,
yes.
Get together over dinner. And you're like, this is really out of the blue. And then all of a sudden you're talking for an hour and they're like, I have this opportunity I'd like to present to you.
Oh my gosh.
And you're like, you don't even want to be my friend.
You're right in it. You're right. You're so right. And that's a part of this whole thing, right? So that's the point to clarity, or clarity.
Yeah.
Like, because what happens is that potential supporter gets that text, looks at it and is like, okay, do I want to respond now? What are they asking? Let me think about it. Like, they're not like, you're already going to do a hard ask in this conversation, right? You're going to ask for support. But but if you're on the phone, you're already doing a hard ask just to do that. And that's like, there's so many things. So you're right. What it does is it kills the mental gymnastics.
It does.
So you get, like, why I love this is you get your first yes. It brings confidence to the whole conversation because you already got you were clear about it. Hey, I'm entering into a support season. I would like to talk to you about that. So when that text comes back through, yes, it's like, they know why I want to do this, and they've said yes. So you are relieved. So now that kills the mental gymnastics within that coffee of how do I angle it? How do I get us there? They're talking, and you know that blank stare that people get when they're thinking about something as you're talking, like you're not having to give them that blank stare. Because when you shift gears from the cordial, like, let's catch up, to this is where we've been, this is where we're going, you shift those gears, no one's caught off guard.
And that's so good because it's true. Otherwise, at the beginning of that conversation, you're trying to figure out how to get there. And so then you aren't fully listening to what they're saying.
Correct.
And that's rude.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's just straight up
You're right.
rude.
Yeah.
And again, it makes people feel used.
Yes.
So that clarity in that first text, that's
well,
awesome.
and that what that does is, okay, we've already talked, it kills fear, right? It kills fear. But that embarrassment aspect, that shame aspect, now you don't feel like you're duping them, and you don't let the enemy have a voice of saying like, oh, they just think you were asking for money, or like that you just bait and switched them. Like, those are all out the window because they already gave you the yes to get into this conversation.
Or maybe I just won't even say anything this time. I'll do it next time we get together for coffee and just drag out the weirdness.
Yeah. Well, and just to finish that up, just like, okay, so now you've given them, like, let's talk about where my call came from. Why did I feel, why am I passionate about this? And then here's the vision, what we want to go do. Then you get to the ask. And that's another really important part for clarity. And there's so much fear wrapped up in that portion. Like I have missionaries I've talked to. It's like, they're like evangelists. I'm talking to thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people about the gospel, but I can't ask for finances. Like I shell up, I get clammy, my voice starts cracking, like shaky. It's so funny. So like they get through the first two parts and they get to the ask, and it's like, people get weird, right? And so that's where clarity really helps. And so something I encourage people, like, it's interesting, like a common number that I need like $2,000 a month, right? Like, okay, so we're looking for $2,000 extra a month. So I like to break it down and make it simple. Okay, so you're looking for 20 supporters at $100 a month. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, right? You break it down, it makes it a little simpler. It makes it more clear.
Yeah.
So then when you're in that conversation with a potential supporter, you say, hey, I'm looking for 20 people who can support me at $100 a month. Can that be you? That's pretty easy. That's pretty chill, right? And so you can engage with that, but it's very clear. And like, even though it's like one sentence, it gives not only clarity about what you're asking, but the potential supporter now engages with what you're asking of like, you've got a plan, you've got a vision, there's a strategy here. You have 20 people you're looking for. Am I one of them? I can think about that. That's good, that's helpful. And it takes any mental gymnastics they have to do of like, that back to that Midwestern, like, well, would you mind, like, if you go home and pray about it, like, whatever God thinks, what you think is best to support. Like, it takes all of that out where it's like, I'm asking for this, can that be you? Instead of like, let me go home, and now they're the ones who have to do the mental gymnastics. I use that a lot, I guess, but they're the ones who have to do the work of, is this too much? Is this too little? Like, they're the ones who have to weigh all that out. But you've already taken all that work off them because you had the plan and the strategy going in.